Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name's Adam. You join me at Pike Place in Seattle, and that can only mean one thing. You've guessed it, the original Starbucks, the very first one. And as promised, we're outside the original Starbucks in Pike Place in Seattle. Hello and welcome back to the channel. In this episode we're going to tie the Prism Midge and then go out onto the water and show you it catching some fish with an unusual twist, but I'll let you see that later in the video. So the Prism Midge, I'm going to tie in two variations. I'm just going to show you the one on the video and I'll explain the second one in a moment. We're going to start off with a little red butt section as an attractor, and this is where the variation comes in, so I'll explain it right now. On the variation, you're going to tie in a blue butt section. And the reason why is to cover two different scenarios in water quality. So if you've got very clear water, the red wavelength diminishes a lot quicker than the blue. So the blue is more attractive. So in clear water, fish the blue variant. And then the reverse happens in murky water. The murky water absorbs the blue very quickly, and then the red will shine through. So blue for clear water, red for murky water. Going up the body, then we've got black thread going up the body and a very fine silver ribbon, and this just imitates the segmentation of the midge as it would do in nature. The little clear plastic bleed on the front gives it a little bit of weight, not very much, but it represents that breather, that pupa emerging from the shell, creating that gap that would happen in the real life. And then the tiny little orange collar behind the glass bead represents the breathers. And depending on the angle that you look at, it can become very prominent or it can become very subtle. So it works on what we've been building a base on, of what the trout see in the fly and then how they react to it. So the blue and the red are the different wavelengths of what the trout can see and why, and then we're going up to that imitative pattern part of the pattern with the segmentation, the breathers, and the little bead represent the emerging pattern. So let's get on and tie it, and then we'll go onto the water and show you catching some fish. Okay, today we're going to try and tie the Prism Midge. In the hook I've got a size 14 Camasan B 911 extra strong hook, and on the end of it is a little glass bead. It's actually plastic that I picked up in Hobbycraft. During the tying of this fly, I'm going to have to change thread a couple of times from red to black to orange. So rather than you watch all that, I'm going to skip through it parts, just so that you don't die of boredom while I'm tying the fly. So without further ado, let's get on with it. We're going to start off by tying a very small red butt section. Line it up properly. There we go. No. There we go. Get a couple of wraps to secure the thread and just tie away the excess piece there. Cut it away even. There we go. Just going to bring that down and cover up the remainder of the tag, and then come back up to where we started tying at the top. And that's literally it for the red. I'm just going to whip finish and tie it off there, and then we'll change on to the black, which will make up the body. So we'll tie that off. And cut off the thread. And this is where I'm going to change over to the black thread, so just bear with me. Okay, and so now I'm back with the black thread, which I'm just going to start tying on just behind the bead. Build up a little thread base before cutting away the excess piece. take that down the shank of the hook to the red part that we tied earlier. And here I'm just going to tie in some very, very fine silver wire. And then carry on down over the red section, because we don't want a massive red butt section. There we go, and then just pack up the shank of the hook, touching turns, making sure we're covering all of that silver ribbing. And then when I come up to the top, I'm just going to go back and down a couple of times just to build up a little taper, because at the moment the butt section is quite a lot thicker than the rest of the body. And then here we're just going to put in the rib section using the silver wire. I'm just going to tie this off. 3 turns behind, 3 or 4 turns in front, and then we're just going to keep some tension on there and helicopter the waist piece off. We'll keep that to the side and we'll tie the next one. So at this stage we're just going to whip finish the black before moving on to the orange. Black thread, and just bear with me, I'll be back with you in just a moment when I've cast on the orange. Okay, so back with you with the orange thread, and here we're just going to do a couple of turns, just overlapping just enough to catch in that little thread. We're going to trim away the excess, and we're literally going to whip finish it straight away. We only want a very, very small little orange collar there, and that just represents the breathers of the midge, and it actually reflects in the little clear plastic bead. There we go. Thread. And then all that's left to do now is varnish the midge. A couple of coats of Sally Hansen's Hard as Nails Advanced that I was lucky enough to get from the States. And this just adds durability to the fly and hopefully catches several trout on a single one before we have to think about changing it for another. So I'll let that coat dry, I'll pop another one on, and in the meantime let's go fishing out on the water and show you how it's fished and hopefully catching some fish with it.